How you doing today, guys? Welcome to back to my channel and to my first video on transport fever. Highly awaited and anticipated, and looks like we finally got it. Got it downloaded last night. And I'm going with the American terrain here. I mean, in part, I just kind of want to see how much contrast there is as far as, if any, as far as FPS goes compared to the European, because I did my first testing on the European terrain and such. So I figured I'd come to the desert. Of course, this desert looking terrain, this looks more like home anyway. Alright, so based on my own personal experience in the test playing that I've just been doing, and from some of the videos I've watched, I've come to the conclusion it is probably best that you start with passenger lines. Now, I know as compared to train fever, especially if you saw some of my train fever videos, I was kind of drastically leaning the other way towards cargo to start out with. But this is a different game. You gotta play it a little bit differently. And now, on the right situation, you could start with cargo. I mean, I'd have to look at the map a bit. Okay, now let's see here. Is actually some interesting item. Oh, well, wait a minute. I'm still getting used to identifying what each of these are correctly, so actually maybe this isn't as good as I thought. I don't see any crude oil production. Yeah, that's the problem I had in my last map, is that none of the facilities were close at all to anything else that actually needed the products. And that, I mean, it's kind of looking about the same here. Okay, that's not too bad. We got a food, cattle and grain producer down here, and there's a food processor up there, so that's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad either. That's actually very good. We got a coal right there, but where's iron? But I'm just going to start with passengers, because the thing with transport fever is it's not the simplicity that it was in train fever. I mean, you have to set up 2 or 3, maybe more lines to get an entire cargo chain working, and you need the whole thing set up before it's going to work, or at least for it to work long term. So it's just such a complicated thing. I mean, theoretically, if the food producers and processors were close enough together, that might make it somewhat simple, but that's not really the case. So, and we've got, looks like a pretty lucrative passenger line right here. We've got very flat ground and not that long of a distance between West Valley City and New York City. That's another thing that I kind of mentioned a little bit in my last train fever video, are the maps bigger? I mean, it might be a little bit bigger, but it's not drastically bigger. That's my opinion. Now, one other thing that may be affecting it is they say that the towns in transport fever are farther away than train fever. I mean, they might be a little bit farther away, but I don't think it's a huge difference. So I think the towns are a little bit farther away, and I think the large map is a little bit bigger, but I don't think it's a huge difference. I mean, it's big enough, it certainly looks like to me. I mean, I don't think people give the maps in train fever quite as much credit as they're due for how big they were. Alrighty, so now let's look at our residential. we've got a lot of residential up there. So yeah, looks like we want our station right up here somewhere. Now let me tack on a little bit of road. First of all, we might as well connect that. Now, one thing they didn't really fix is the fussiness of the road and track lane tools. I mean, it's kind of hard sometimes to, like that. See, it always wants to do some weird flipping kink, and it gets rather frustrating. Okay, that worked. Yeah, that is still about as annoying as it was in Train Fever, I would say. Alright, so where do I want the station? Now, as you can see, this is laid out a little bit different, so I gotta go down here and select the right one, rather. And of course, something I also mentioned is you gotta look for the catchment area now. The radius of effect of the station, so you can see the lit area. That's what the station by itself, that's the only thing it would get. I don't know, if I put the track on the inside, would that be better? And you have to manually use the N and M keys to rotate. It doesn't auto-rotate anymore. Honestly, not really. That doesn't really catch anymore. Now, actually, it would, maybe if at a later date I put a road on the other side there, but no, I don't want to do that. I don't want it on the outside, because that would just... If I put it on the inside there, I'm going to end up having to do a lot of bulldozing later, and I just want to mitigate the amount of bulldozing I have to do. So, it's going to catch a little bit on its own, but we'll use... wagon stations, since we're in 1850, we don't have buses yet, so they're wagon stations, not bus stations. We will use those to make up the difference, which now is a key difference that wasn't necessary in Train Fever, but now that's kind of a big deal. And let me see. Okay, that would probably be better. That catches pretty much that whole east side, or west side, rather. It's okay, let's do that. Yeah, let's just do those two. That catches pretty much all the major parts. I mean, I don't think it's going to be extremely important for me to have this. Well, I know what, actually I forgot that that it extended this far out. Okay, yeah, hell with it, I'll just go with 3 stations there. Now let's get the rest of this connected though. And I won't worry about it anymore. Alright, so let's go ahead and make that line for the road. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, running that looks good. Alright, now let's figure out where do I need to put my station over here. Probably right here is as good as anything. Now, okay, there we go. Yeah, that seems to help a lot if you zoom in really close as you're trying to build this thing. It seems like that helps avoid the kinks and stuff when you're trying to make the road. That actually gets a pretty decent radius of effect right there on its own. So I may only need a couple additional bus stops in addition to the one that I'll have to put right here next to the station. Where is it? Here we are. So let's... yeah, that actually... set one there, and I'll go ahead and set the other one way out here, just to anticipate there should be some growth out there anyway, so eventually that should be useful. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the line for that. Okay, so only 3 stops for that. Okay, so now I need to lay the track. And look at this and figure out, okay, well obviously I want from this side, it's going to come out from this side of the station. Of course, now I started on an easy level, so I started with $3 million. What in the world? Is there really that much of a grade? Oh yeah, there is a hill there. I did not even notice that thing. Hill jumped right out in front of me. Okay, so I'll try and go around that a little bit. Okay, now which side do I want to hook up to up here? Probably going to have to be that side, because I was not paying that good attention. This is actually kind of close, so you know what, let's actually... let's go ahead and do that, even though I'm not sure if I'm going to use that right away, but I just want to get the track built, just to try and make sure the town doesn't expand and take up all the space there. Let me see. Yeah, we can actually, we can go ahead and hook right up onto that part. That's actually the first time I've done that on this game. I actually haven't had near as much trouble doing that in Transport Fever as I did in Train Fever, but as you can see, yeah, it's still a thing you gotta watch out for, that you don't miss your connections like that. Really? Okay, now that's another frustration. Is you can do more weird things when crossing the tracks and such, but it leads to increased fussiness about track layings. You know, it's trying to do some weird angle, or it thinks you're trying to cross the track instead of join the track and stuff like that. It's a little bit of a pain. So that's not too bad. I mean that's a little bit wavy, but I mean that's generally what you got to do. You want to try and avoid as much uneven terrain as possible. Okay, so now where am I going to put the depot? First of all, let's try and remember. I want to try and remember to put the depot in a place where it can supply trains to more than 1 or 2 lines. Because that's the mistake I'd always end up making in Train Fever, is I'd have to build a new depot for every 1 or 2 lines. I want to try and avoid that. Now, where's the next most likely place for me to branch to? Probably Kansas City. Just because the terrain is a little bit inclement between New York and Evansville. I mean, and honestly, I may have not looked as much as I should have, because really, that's the next closest town is Toledo, and that's actually a pretty fair piece away. I don't know, actually, I'm not sure. I think they all might be about the same. Detroit and Birmingham look like they're kind of close, but I think it's all about the same. So it probably doesn't make that much difference. However, I'd have to make a bridge to get to Toledo, so yeah, bridge is a bit more expensive. Okay, so in order to supply a train to Kansas City, if I was to build a route there, probably just building a depot right off here somewhere would be good. Let's curve this out. And for now, I'll just leave it at that. Just stick the depot on the end here. And of course, as I said, these things do not automatically rotate, so you have to manually rotate things around to get them facing and aligning correctly. Oh yes, and I'm going to need road depots for my bus stops. Let's go ahead and stick it out here. And then I need one down here in New York City. Where'd it go? Okay, there it is. Alrighty, there we go. And how many do we want to start off with? I'll probably start with 3 coaches per town for now. And now I do have European and American vehicles both in here. I'm not just going with American, because I like to have the diversity available to me. So I'm going to go, I like the European, the early coaches better than the American ones. So, and cost, if you're interested, is actually the same. Cost, running cost, it's all the same. Passenger capacity, so does not matter there. Did I get, yeah, there's 3. Alrighty. Set to 1. I will go ahead and let time start advancing slowly. And now I need to set up the line for the train. Alright, looks good there. Now we just need to get a train. Alrighty, I think I like the early American train better than the European, so I'm going to take that one. And for now, based on my experience in the last one, my test run that I did, I'm just going to put 2 cars on. Do I want to select a color? Let's just go with gray, dark gray. Alrighty, then we still got 1.5 mil in the bank. Let's take a quick look at this. Loan interest is 3 million, so what I think that's going to be, what, 30,000 per year. So I think I could actually I could do, I think, 7 more loans, I think, which would be, what, 3.5 million. I think you can only do a maximum of like 10 loans at one time, and then you'd have to start paying them off. That's a thing that I learned in my test run that almost screwed me, but luckily I was making enough money at the time that even after building a lot of stuff and not being able to buy the trains for it, I still was slowly making money and making the comeback. I mean, but if I did a little bit of a loan, honestly, I think I could probably just go ahead and make another line straight out to Kansas City right away. I don't think I really even need to wait. I'll wait till the end of this first year. I want to get a confirmation on how much I'm spending per year on my loan. Let's go ahead and speed up time, because it's going to take a little bit for these routes to develop. I seriously considered just starting in 1900 or something like that, but I decided, I'll go ahead and start early. I mean, you can kind of use this early period of time to try and build up some money-making potential in your early rail lines. Got any action going on down here? Not yet. And while I'm waiting, maybe I'll scout around a little bit more for possible cargo opportunities. Okay, so there's food production, and there's a food processor up there. I mean, that is a fair distance, though. But food is actually one of the simpler ones. I would say food and fuel. Those are fairly simple. There's only like 3 steps you really need. I need something to take the food from there to the processor, and then from the processor to the towns, and that's all I need. I mean, some other these chain possibilities, you need like 4 or 5 steps you'd have to go through. It's like, let's look at this one. This needs, actually, what is that? Okay, yeah, it needs planks and steel to make, or actually that, it would need planks, steel, actually I think I'm looking at that wrong. I think what it's saying is, actually, let me look at something a little bit more familiar with, so just to double check and make sure I'm understanding that. So actually, I think I could just put planks in here and it would be able to make tools. However, getting planks is that's like a 2 or 3 step process. Let me think about that for a second. I would have to transport the wood to a lumber mill, and then from the lumber mill I'd have to transport it over there, and then I'd have to transport the tools from there to a town, so a total of like 4 steps. Oh wait, there's the lumber mill. I'd have to take it the other way, but that's very unfortunate. Would have been nice if there was a tool producing facility somewhere right around here, but I don't see. Well, there's one up there. Yeah, but it seems like they've made sure that nothing that needs the other is placed too close to each other. It does seem to be one definite thing. It appears to be the case for the most part. Okay, let's double check. I do see some activity. I've got some waiting. And as you can see the little people still. They've got pretty good. It's at least as good a detail as they had in Train Fever, maybe a little bit more. I can't remember. I didn't spend that much time looking at the individual people in Train Fever, but they're at least that good. And as you can see, we've got people waiting to get picked up. So that is on its way to being prosperous. Now, one thing you have to remember about especially this particular one is it's kind of far away. It's not really catching anything on its own, so it's almost completely reliant on the carriages to bring the people to it. So you really need to pay attention, if you're doing that, to how many people have you got waiting at the stops. Because if you've got people waiting and you need more capacity, that's business you're missing out on at the station, because they won't go to the station without getting picked up by the carriages. So you need to keep an eye on that. Just check out, see if you need to add more carriages. Let's see, I've got 7 people waiting, and that's after he stopped there. And honestly, oh, you know what? That's why I put that on the wrong side of the road, actually. I should have put that on the other side. That's why he's going back around that way. But so I think he just stopped there. There's still a couple people waiting. I'm not going to add another carrot. Well, okay, see, we got 8 there. 1 there. Yeah, I'm not going to add another carriage yet, but yeah, you got to remember though, you got to keep an eye on it. And he's already got 12 that have come up for home. That is another thing. You see the red numbers going up there, your cost, your maintenance costs. Let's go ahead and fix that. Once my FPS decides to come back. Because that's the bad thing about that. Anytime that happens, it really tends to stun your frame rates per second, although I think this may be something else. It's maybe just a little fraps fit that happens on my computer from time to time. I'm getting 4 FPS 5. Oh, okay, here it comes. It's finally coming back. So we can go up here, and now I can turn that off so I won't see the costs go up. But you know what? I can cut here because I'm going to restart fraps. But you can get rid of that, and now, yeah, I'll continue this. Alright, where was I? I was just telling you how to turn that off. So we want to turn that off. What is this? Looks like it's already off. Oh, God. I guess I accidentally turned that off at some point. So, okay, we want to leave that on. Do I want to turn any of this other stuff off? No, sometimes I actually want to see, yeah, we can turn the stations off. I only have 2 stations. I should be able to find those again. Turn ships off if I ever make ships. I probably shouldn't need that to find them as big as they are and slow. Okay. Now, where was I going with this? I was thinking we should make a line over to Kansas City. Okay. Now, just notice there's a fuel producing area right there. Is there any crude producing facilities around? No, there's another fuel producer. There's got to be a crude production facility somewhere around here. There's one on the other side of the country, or he's halfway on the other side of it. You should know it. Yeah, that's disappointing. Okay, yeah, so let's just focus on our passenger lines, because as I've been explaining, cargo, it's kind of complicated, and transport fever, there's a lot that needs to be done. Okay, now, I wanted to take a quick look at my finances. So yeah, that's what I thought, 30K, so I've got seven more loans I can take. You can't exceed a maximum of 100K on a loan interest per year. So let's just see how much I can do with what I've got. It's got 1.2 million. Let me see, let's pull up land use. So most of the residential is over here. So alrighty, so I think I will just stick the station. Oops, that's not the right one. Get the station there, station. Right here. And that actually does much better in the catchment area than I thought it would. I didn't think we'd get hardly anything. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and set that right there. It's much better than I thought. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get the bus stop set up. So if I put one right there, yeah, that would be excellent. Just make this another, be a total of a 3-stop town. Alright, let's go ahead and make the line. And that's one other very nice thing, is now you can separate the railroad, road, tram, air, water. You can separate, separate what lines you want to look at. Like I've just got the one railroad, I've got 2 road currently, and that is so handy. That was something Train Fever really needed. Okay, so now where was I? Yes, I was going to create the line. That's what I was going to do. Alrighty, there we go. Let's go ahead and change the name of that. Of course, you can change the name of these, which I think you could do in Train Fever as well, but I never actually did it. But I think I'm actually going to start doing that now. So what is this? This is Kansas City, right? It's not telling me because I'm still in the create a line thing, but I'm going to take a gamble and say it's it's Kansas City. Kansas City. Okay, that's what I'm going to call it, because I'm not going to spell the whole thing out there. Yes, it is Kansas City. Okay, so now, let's see, West Valley, they've already got their bus system set up, so now I just need to build the track. Well, I don't know. I might be able to get over there without taking out an additional loan for the track. Okay, now see, it's not doing that right. It may look like it is at first, but it's actually trying to cross the track. It's not joining it, and it does that a lot. And it's doing it again right there. Okay, here we go. Yes, a very cool feature that you can cross the tracks at the angles you can, but it seems to have created an additional level of fussiness when you try and build tracks. Uh-oh. See, that's one thing you have to be very careful of, is the level of terrain. That's actually one thing on this map, as opposed to the European map. I think it's a little bit harder to tell just by looking the differences in the level of terrain. Actually, you have to kind of get down really low. You know, and actually one thing I noticed that helped with my FPS is turning off anti-assailing, or whatever it's called. Although while that wasn't being recorded, and while I'm recording, that kind of creates a whole nother issue for my FPS, which looks like it's going down the tubes again. So I may have to try and adjust some other graphics for while I'm recording, because this just isn't going to hold up. It doesn't look like for any length of time while I've got fraps on. Alrighty, let's try that. Just decided let's just turn anti-aliasing completely off. Let's see if that does it. Has the desired effect. And I'll have a look around here just to see if in a minute, see if I can notice any significant difference in the graphics. Okay, so where am I going? Yeah, I still gotta wait. Well, actually, let's see, what side do I want to hook up to that on? Yeah, I'll probably come out from that side, I think, is where I want. Hook up to that. So it looks like I'm going to get the track there, it looks like, without having to pull out a loan, although I'm pretty sure I will have to take out a loan to buy the train, because I'm not going to have a whole ton of money left. Well, I'll say it's going to be rather close, actually. Train into cars. I did that again. It's very frustrating. I still got a little over $500,000 left, so let's just pause it just to make sure that money doesn't disappear. Oh, wait. Well, no, actually, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I don't need a truck going in that direction. He'll just duck into that station and then be on his way, so yeah, that's fine. But actually, what I do need to do is, because they are using the same track, I need to set up some signals here to keep this from descending into a mess. Yeah, let's just stop it there. No, actually, I'll put it over here. That's fine. Alrighty, now, how much money, how much train can I get for that money? I mean, that's a pretty cheap train, so that costs $272,000, so now I will have to take out a loan to get, I want to put one more car on there. So honestly, that seems strange to me. I wouldn't think the car would cost more than the engine, but it does, for some reason. Oh well. Okay, so take out a quick little loan there. Get one more car. You know what? I didn't make the line, did I? I don't think I did. Nope. Get rid of that. Alright, now we're ready to go. Now, right, let's get time sped up a little bit again. Now, in this game, I am probably going to be a little bit more aggressive in as far as taking out loans and trying to build up quickly just to try and keep this a little more interesting. I mean, normally when I'm playing this game on my own, it tends to be a very slow process. Did you actually pick anybody up? Nah, I didn't figure it would. But we have 21 people waiting for the other line, so that's very good. And as I said, you know, in Transport Fever, really starting out with passengers, I think is usually going to be the better option. I mean, you might spend a bit of time, you can look around, and maybe you'll find the right opportunity for cargo. But usually all the facilities necessary for cargo, it just seems like so far I haven't been able to find them close enough together to really make it very practical to start hauling cargo quickly. Not without an enormous expense trying to set everything up anyway. Whereas passengers, I mean, that's still about as simple as it was. I mean, to set up, and it seems to be even more fruitful, though. I mean, that's the big thing, is Train Fever, you just couldn't count on passenger lines just working out. It was very inconsistent, it seemed like. And in this, now, everything that I've heard, and so far my own gameplay seems to bear that out, that it will be passenger hauling is going to be much more consistent in this game and much more lucrative overall than it was in Train Fever. Alright, but I think this is going on. I've kind of lost track of where my timer was, but this is, I'm pretty sure it's over half an hour, so I'm going to end this video right here. If you like this, enjoy it, hey, go ahead and give it a like, maybe subscribe. I will be doing more Transport Fever videos to come. Oh, and thanks for watching.